you. You are swearing by him tonight. And that's the one that counts. Settle down, settle down. This is the one that counts. That you make this commitment. Settle down, please. Settle down. This is the point at which society can change. You know, I was born in Jamaica. Jamaica, which is in Central America, for those of you who don't know. On an island. The island is called Jamaica, 2.5 million people. In a Christian family, because the island is an island of Christians. Now, if at the time of my birth, somebody told my parents, listen, your son is going to become a Muslim. Not only that, but he is going to study and become a Muslim scholar and teach Muslims. Not only that, but he is going to set up a university which is a global university with over 500,000 students. My parents would have said, impossible. Impossible. How could that possibly happen? We are Christians, he's a Christian. How is that going to ever happen? But Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar. Yes, Allahu Akbar. If Allah can make that happen for me, who am I? You are already Muslims. I was born in a Christian family, raised a Christian. In university I became a communist, and then eventually I found Islam. So if that can happen for me, and I can impact to this point where I'm here now addressing you, then what about you? Each and every one of you can do more. Each and every one of you can do more. You have a head start. So if you live by this commitment that you made tonight to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Somali society will change. It will change. Because that is the promise of Allah. That if you change, the society will change. That is Allah's promise. Now, as students, you must be aware of the nature of your study. As we said, as Muslims, our goal is worshiping Allah. As Muslim students, our studentship, our being students, should be worshiping Allah. As you all know, Prophet Muhammad said, طَلَبُ الْعِلْمِ فَرِيضَةٌ عَلَى كُلِّ مُسْلِمٍ. Seeking knowledge is faridah. Faridah, fard. We all know what fard is. This is a religious obligation on every Muslim. And being a student, you are on a path to paradise. As the Prophet ﷺ had said, مَنْ سَلَكَ طَرِيقًا يَلْتَمِسُ فِيهِ عِلْمًا سَهَّلَ اللَّهُ لَهُ طَرِيقًا إِلَى الْجَنَّةِ. That is the promise of Allah. You go on that path, and Allah puts you on that path to paradise. So as you know, ibadah has conditions. Your student life in ibadah has conditions. One of those most basic conditions is that you follow the way of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He was the guide. لَقَدْ كَانَ لَكُمْ فِي رَسُولِ اللَّهِ أُسْوَةٌ حَسَنَةٌ. We know that. He was the guide. So we have to follow his way. His title, what he used to be known as before he received revelation, was what? What was his title? Al-Amin. Al-Amin, Dhu Amana. The trustworthy, the honest. The trustworthy, the honest. And in order to emphasize that, he said, Man ghashana. You all know. Man ghashana falaysa minna. Whoever cheats us is not a true Muslim. Whoever cheats us is not a true Muslim. Kabura maqtan inda Allahi an taqulu ma la taf'al. And this is what is happening. You are saying man ghashana falaysa minna, but you are ghashashin min al-taraf al-awwal. Yeah? First class cheaters. Yes? And when I say, when you made this commitment, you're not going to cheat from tonight onwards, it means that when your best friend says to you on the examination, what's the answer? When your best friend asks you for the answer, if you give him or her that answer, you have cheated. That is cheating too. It may not be as bad as seeking the answer. The one who is seeking the answer is worse, true. But you giving the answer, you have participated in cheating, so you are also a cheater. So you have to stop. Stop it dead. Of course, some of you will say, but my marks are going to go down. My marks are going to go down. Because right now I've got high marks, 90s and 80s, because I'm cheating. So if I stop cheating, what's going to happen? I'll drop down to 60s and 50s, maybe I'll fail. No. If you are honest students, you will not fail. What is an honest student? An honest student is one who, from the beginning of the term, when he or she begins her course of study, you're making notes. You're not sleeping in class, chatting and carrying on. Then the night before the exam, you're trying to cram everything. It won't go in your brain, so you start to write these little pieces of paper. You write on your clothing. You put it in your socks. You eat it. That's the dishonest student. The honest student, from the very beginning, you are taking notes, you are reviewing on a weekly basis, you are reviewing on a monthly basis. If you do that, when the time for exams come, the night before you review the material, it's easy. It's easy because you've been reviewing all along, and you will get good marks. Because when you take that approach from the beginning, you will seek to understand. You will seek to understand. Not merely to memorize. Because that's what most of you are doing. You're not understanding, you're memorizing. You try to find out what pages the exams questions are going to come from, and you memorize the page. The teacher asks the question, you just write out whatever was in your memory. Or what was ever on your cheating paper. You haven't understood. This is not the way. This is not the way from the Quran itself. Allah tells us, أَفَلَا يَتَدَبَّرُونَ الْقُرْآنَ أَمْ عَلَى قُلُوبٍ أَقْفَالُهَا. It is not just about reciting the Quran and not understanding it. The purpose of reciting the Quran is to reflect on the words of Allah. That has an impact on us and it changes our lives. It is about understanding. Allah stressed it. The Prophet ﷺ stressed it. Before the West came to critical thinking, etc., Islam had already established that. So you take your subjects and you study them critically. You choose your area of study well. You distinguish between what is false knowledge and what is true knowledge. If in your biology science classes they're teaching you Darwinism, that human beings came from a shared ancestor with monkeys and apes, reject that. It's false. It's not true knowledge. So you don't just swallow anything that is given to us from the West. We look at it critically. If you're studying business administration, business management, and you take your course in marketing, and when you go into the course on marketing, you see that they're teaching you how to deceive people, how to trick them. So they tell you the best marketer, the best salesman is the one who is able to sell sand to the Arabs of the desert. That's the best salesman. The Arab who is living in the middle of the desert, in the middle of sand. You are able to sell him sand. How do you do that? You have to convince him that the sand you have, he needs. You have to trick him. So, when you're studying marketing, you have to know what is acceptable and what is not acceptable. And actually, the administration of the university has to take care in the teaching of the subjects. It is not enough to say we've hired Professor so-and-so from this university, etc. He's going to teach this course on so-and-so as he learned it in America, or as he learned it in Britain, or Norway, or wherever. He's going to teach it the same way he learned it. We don't need that. He has to teach it from an Islamic perspective. It should be taught critically analyzing all the various aspects of the subject. For you to understand what is acceptable and what is not. So there needs to be a change also in the approach of the administration and the faculty in how their subjects are taught. But more importantly for you, because you are the students, you have to look at everything critically. Challenge it. Challenge your professor. Why? Why is that the case? Not just know what he's saying and write it down and memorize it. No. You must challenge it. You must understand it. Because with understanding, you can bring about change. With memorizing, you only repeat what was already there. You can't make change. You cannot bring anything new. So, tonight, you made a commitment. And today is the 10th of November, 2015. 3 months from now, Allah willing, inshallah, I will be back here. And I'm going to ask you this question. I'm going to ask you this question again. Who can raise his or her hand and say, Wallahi, from the 10th of November 2015 till today, I have not cheated on any test or examination. And I want to see all the hands up. Will I see all the hands up? Yes, inshallah. Come on, will I see all the hands up? Okay. Administration, faculty, you have seen it. Fashhadu. Okay? Barakallahu feekum. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.